Here are the ingredients for Ropa Vieja. 2 pounds of beef. We have 2 jalapeno peppers. We have 2 bell peppers. I chose a red and a green just because I wanted some extra color. We have cumin. We have bay leaves. We also have apple cider vinegar, beef broth, onion. We also have diced tomatoes, as well as garlic. We have some tomato paste, and that will wrap up our ingredients for Ropa Vieja. So, today I am making Ropa Vieja. And so, if you know Spanish, you know it means old clothes. And I guess it's because it's ripped up and shredded and, I don't know, spicy, tangy. And I will say this, I just said spicy, and that's actually a misnomer about a lot of food from other countries. Now, I say that because obviously I grew up in the mountains of Southwest Virginia, and you know, our idea of spicy was going down to the Mexican restaurant and having some extra spicy salsa, you know. And so I really didn't understand spices in other foods, really. I mean, Mexican was kind of the extent of our other food, or Italian, because obviously, if you know where I grew up in Covington, there's an Italian restaurant there that's very popular, and that was probably our 2 main ones. You know, it was Italian or Mexican, and Mexican really didn't come in until later. So I didn't even have Chinese food until I was in college. Yeah, never had Chinese food before college, and I'll tell you, I didn't have Thai food until I moved here. Well, before I moved to High Point, I was working on a job, and they took me to the Thai restaurant here in town. And that was the first time I had Thai. So one of the misnomers that I had about Cuban food, that it was super spicy and just all this stuff, and it's not. You know, obviously, I'm married to a Cuban, and I was educated rather quickly as to the fact that Cuban food is not spicy. Cuban food is flavorful. As a matter of fact, they don't want it to be super spicy. And if you think about it, let's use our brains for just a moment. Yeah, why would you want something super spicy when you live on an island that's super humid, super hot? You're in the middle of the ocean. Hell no, I don't want super spicy. I mean, think about it. Like, for instance, even in Hawaii, you know, y'all know I love my Maui. Y'all know I love Maui. Even there, think about it. When I was there, the food wasn't super spicy, but it was flavorful, and it had a wonderful texture to it. And there were some sweet moments because you had all these wonderful fruits and like pineapple. God, I missed the pineapple. So today I'm going to make Ropa Vieja. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you the rundown on the ingredients and servings and all that fun stuff. This particular recipe makes 6 servings. 6, count them, 6. So this would be great for a family, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I'm making it today. Usually we have, most of our recipes are 4 servings, this is 6. So it's going to be 1 lean, 1.5 greens, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, and 3 condiments. So you're still going to have to get in your healthy fat somewhere. So you might want to pair, you know, this Ropa Vieja. Maybe you make some guac, and you have some extra bell peppers for dipping. But you need to get your healthy fats in at some point during the day because there are no healthy fats in this recipe. So once again, 1 lean, 1.5 greens, and 3 condiments. Obviously, you use all your condiments up, so this is not something that you could do on a day you're having your coffee and you're putting in your creamer and you can't do it. So what we have, once again, I did the rundown of all the ingredients. We're gonna have 2 pounds of steak, 1/3 cup of onion, 2 bell peppers, 3 cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 3 cups of beef broth, a can of fire roasted tomatoes. Now I could not find fire roasted tomatoes, so I'm actually using some Rotel diced tomatoes, 2 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of cumin, not Cuban, we're not putting Cuban in this. It's our Cuban recipe. 2 jalapenos and 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. So I've cleaned all my vegetables. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short break here, and I'm going to make sure I've got everything I need. I've got my skillet out here so I can start browning the beef. I've got bowls, I've got everything. So I'm going to do my best to get all that together. But first, I'm going to take a quick break and make sure I have everything that I need, okay? Alas, it's my coffee maker that's right beside my camera. I have been on a program, and I coach a program, and it's no surprise to anybody. It's called Ropa Vieja. It's a very popular program. It's one of the leading weight loss and lifestyle change companies, Fortune 500 companies. So I'm a part of that. I'm a health coach with them. I've been a health coach since 2020. I'm a certified health coach with Ropa Vieja. And I've enjoyed their products, promoting them, and really for me, it's helping people I know get healthy. And some people I don't know. That's the great part about it with being a coach. Sometimes I'm contacted from people I've never met in my life, never met in real person. And we create this bond, this friendship over the phone and via text and everything. So oddly enough, I'm doing this video, and just a moment ago my alarm went off and it's time for me to eat something. So today I'm actually brewing a cup of coffee. I'm going to throw in this dark chocolate covered cherry shake in my coffee, which is just finishing up. And if you have a Keurig, you know what that sound means. And so many people ask me sometimes, how do I do my coffee? How do I do this? So I've just brewed a cup of coffee, or in this case, a thermos of coffee. I open up this, I pour it in, okay? I take this long old skinny spoon, and I stir until I decide I'm done stirring, i.e. when I see most of the chocolate shake or strawberry shake or peanut butter shake or vanilla shake or chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, peanut butter, and then this chocolate covered cherry one is all mixed up. And that's it. That's all I do other than enjoy my shake. Now, is it all shakes? No. Is it all, just little tiny pieces of food? No. We get to have good food, like my Ropa Vieja that I'm making today. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start cutting up vegetables, putting them in bowls, and getting things started. About our program, we get to eat a lot of vegetables, fresh vegetables. There's not a lot of crap in the food that we eat. And what I mean by crap is, we're not putting a bunch of preservatives and junk in our body. And everybody always comes to me and goes, when they find out I'm an Ropa Vieja coach, and whenever it's a moment where, I'm talking to them about, do you want to start the program? I'd love to coach you and help. They always go, well, I just don't eat processed food. Well, I hate to tell you, okay, I'm jumping on soapbox, bitch, you're eating processed food. If it doesn't look like this, and you grew it, now here's how I want to talk to you about this too. If you didn't grow this, there's a process. It's been processed. You might not want to hear that. But if you grew it in your own yard or got it from a farmer's market where it was organic, then you're fine. This has been through a process. I found out when I went to Maui, because I just mentioned the Maui pineapple just a moment ago. When we went to Maui, when they pick the pineapple there and send it to the mainland, okay? They zap it with radiation to kill any germs and bugs. You don't think that affects the pineapple? Don't think that affects your body? But, oh no, I can't eat anything from a package because it's processed. Everything we eat, unless we kill it ourselves and or grow it ourselves and or go to places that do that without any pesticides, etc., it's processed. I hate to tell you. Get off your, I don't eat processed food high horse and get yourself together. So what I'm going to do, now I'm jumping off my high horse, and I'm going to process up these peppers. So I'm gonna drink a little bit of my shake because I gotta get this in. I wanna drink it before my coffee gets cold. And you're probably thinking, dear God, does he need more coffee? Yeah, there's always time for coffee. So a little trick I want to show you, I learned about peppers the other day, and I've shown this before in other videos, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Peppers have that natural line in them. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my knife and cutting down through. And so it just allows you to pop out the pepper like this. And you don't have to worry about as much of the inside seed part. Now, you notice I'm throwing this into this, there's a little container here that you probably can't see because it's off camera. Now, normally, I will be taking these pieces of pepper and putting them into my soup bag that I have, you know, in the freezer, which, if you all remember, soup bag. And that's great for making vegetable broth. Well, that soup bag has about a gazillion peppers in it, so I'm not putting any more peppers in my soup broth. I do want, you know, my vegetable broth to be great. Not that it wouldn't be with that, but you know what I'm saying. After a while, there's enough pepper. So I often will take the pepper and I will slice off just this little, you know, the little, I guess, ribbing, if you want to call it that, on the inside. That little bit right there. I'll just go ahead and cut that off and I throw it into my little container. I don't always do this. I mean, it's not like it's gonna hurt you. It's inside the pepper. Another trick that my friend Tracy gave me knife skills class. She's a chef here in High Point, Tracy Rankins. She and her husband Eric used to own Easy Peasy in Greensboro, and you may have seen them on television shows on the Food Network, like Wedding Cake Wars, and things like that. Well, Tracy gave me a knife skills class, and I was so excited because I got these fancy, handy little knives, and I was like, I don't know how to use these. I was scared to even pick this bad boy up because, I mean, it's intimidating. I mean, this is like the Scream knife, okay, that they use in Scream, kind of. It's a little different, but anyway. Actually, I think the Scream knife is more like, no, it's not that one. Maybe I don't have it. Oh, there it is. There's the Scream knife. That's the one from Scream. But anyway, so one of the tricks she taught me was I was kind of chopping this way or whatever. Well, if I want a thin pepper slice, I hold my pepper like this, you know, kind of that claw thing, and I take just the tip of this and I slice this way. And what that allows me to do is to control the pepper, number one. See, I'm keeping my fingers out of the way, but also what it's doing, if I don't cut my fingers while I'm talking to you here, it also allows me to get wonderfully sliced thin pieces of pepper. Even this little fat one right here, I'm going to slice it up again. Okay, so now what I can do at that point is I can go in and notice I'm not worrying about them being perfectly chopped. There's going to be some in here that are bigger. I don't care. But the great part about it is, and yes, I washed my hands beforehand, and like I said, I washed all the produce before I started. The great part is you get these wonderfully, I mean, look at those peppers. Those are so pretty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue, I'm gonna go ahead and do this pepper and the green pepper, and then I'll be right back with you, okay? Jalapenos, but not gloves. Here's the deal. Yours truly wears contacts. Yours truly would like to not feel like I'm getting a hot poker to the eye tonight when I go to take my contacts out. Which is what will happen if you don't wear gloves. My friend Tracy, my chef friend Tracy, she mentioned that you could also do lemon juice. I tried that. It worked okay. Didn't work great, but I survived. I was okay. Now, the hotness comes from in here, okay? So, in this house, we do like a little spice in our food. So I am not going to take out the middle and or the seeds. So they're gonna stay in. So it's gonna have a little kick. Our little Ropa Vieja will have some kick. However, if you don't want that kick, you could always slice this down the side and then scoop it out, like you were gonna make a jalapeno popper boat or something. But I'm just gonna leave those in for now, and I'm gonna do my little slice trick that I just did with the peppers with this, so that, and then I'm just gonna go chop, 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 and chop. Okay, I'm gonna take these, put these in, and I'm telling you, the gloves are a lifesaver. Like I said, if you have contacts, do not touch those peppers and then expect tonight that you're gonna feel really good when you take those contacts out. And I'll tell you, I did it once, forgot that I was doing all the peppers, but because I was making a green chili, chicken chili verde, which was absolutely delicious. It uses like habanero peppers and jalapenos and poblanos, and it's just, it's all the green peppers that are good. And it was really tasty, but that night I forgot that I hadn't, put on gloves, and I will tell you that my eyes felt like I was about to die. And of course I had two eyes, so I had to go through both, both of the eyes, and that felt really great. Then in the morning, I washed my hands again and went to put my contacts in, and guess what? There was still oil from the peppers on my hands. And so when I put them in, I got the pleasure of feeling the pain again. So I'm just giving you fair warning, people. And also something you'll notice too is with I'm using this to help kind of guide. I talked to my friend Tracy about this, because if you watch like one of those shows like Worst Cooks in America, and Anne Burrell, the one with the crazy like blonde hair. My friend Tracy has crazy blonde hair too. I think it must be a chef thing. Or Tracy just rocks it and she's fabulous. But I asked her, I did this and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to do that. Anne Burrell says not to. And she said, honey, it's okay. She said, do not worry about putting your finger here. If that makes you feel comfortable in your chop, then you put your finger there and you don't worry about it. Now, like I said, I'm leaving our jalapenos like this. You could always slice them down the middle and make them thinner, or you can quarter them. Excuse me, but I am not. I'm gonna leave ours whole. Because like I said, I love to get that pop of heat. So now all I'm gonna do is I am going to cut the onion, and then I'm going to take care of the clove garlic, and then we'll be able to get into the cooking part of the whole recipe. Finally, I know, you're like, Jesus Christ, how much longer is this gonna take? But you know me, I love my videos and I love to have them be more about everything and not just the cooking part. So y'all can deal, y'all are grown, y'all will be fine. So hang tight, and I will get the onions done and the garlic done, and then we will come back and start throwing stuff in the pot and having a good time, okay? Okay, so some of you are probably sitting there going, okay, I am so not a cook. He makes this look so easy, blah, 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 blah. Okay, first off, stop making excuses. Everybody's a cook. I'm gonna tell you, everybody's an artist too. And you're gonna go, no, they're not. Yes, they are. But let's put it this way. There are different levels of cook. There are cooks, and then there are chefs. And there are people who can draw, and there are artists. Okay, so everybody has different levels. But that's not why I came on here. But I was also thinking, you're probably going, my God, he's doing all this. I don't think I can. Yes, you can. Because listen, when I first started, well, I won't say first started the program because this was before program. I bought into one of those, well, more than one, those food boxes that you get delivered to your door. Especially if this apron was a different color, maybe blue, shall we say. And you can say, hello, it's fresh. So you would get those, and it was like every time, like especially with the one from the apron, every 5 seconds, mince garlic, mince garlic, mince garlic. I'm like, my God, how long do I have to mince garlic? One of the things my friend Chef Tracy taught me was she suggested getting this pre-minced garlic. She said it saves a bunch of time. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't feel like mincing garlic, run to your store. This is from a company called Spice World. I'm not getting sponsored by them. They make these wonderful jars. This is a smaller jar. There's a larger jar. I get it at Publix. Once again, Publix isn't giving me any money to say that. But they're wonderful because they do save time. The other thing that saves time is this little gadget right here, which once again, I'm not being sponsored by Pampered Chef either. I don't know why these people aren't sponsoring me. There's got to be some sponsorship in here somewhere. I'll hawk their products. I don't care. So this little guy, I put my garlic cloves inside, and they already have the papery edge off of them. And what it does is it slices. It gives me these wonderful pieces of sliced garlic, which I absolutely adore. Especially like if you're going to make, oh my God, if you like imagine it on like a salmon or something like that, where you want that kick of just garlic. Oh God, it would be so good on salmon. If you were making some sort of, for those of you who are eating pasta, some sort of pasta dish, and or you know, even if you were just God, it's just, God, it smells so good. I love garlic. I grew up in a household, if it didn't have garlic or onion in it, it didn't get on the table because my mom loved garlic and onion. Plus garlic's good for your heart. So, anyway, I got sidetracked. What happened was, that's how I got started in cooking. Okay, and you're going, where the did he just go? So I'm back on the garlic thing. So it was minced garlic. And what I realized was, if you can read and you can use a knife and measure, you can cook. It's basically science with food. And I'm not a big science person either, but I can cook now. Now, am I a chef? Hell no. But can I cook? Yes, ma'am, I can. I can cook. And I used to be able to bake too. I haven't baked in a really long time, and my poor KitchenAid mixer over there's going, use me like some whore on Fifth Avenue. So I gotta get that thing working again. I've gotta whip something up. But anyway, everybody's going, dear God, where did he, what is that second cup of coffee? Bam! So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start following the menu and adding things in here so that we can get started. So let me consult the recipe, because I'll be honest, I haven't read it past cut this stuff up. So let me read the menu. Let me read the recipe and I will get back to you. Here we go. I'm going to read the recipe to you, and then I'm going to plug my iPad back in because I didn't print out this part. So we're going to lightly coat a large pot with olive oil spray. I have olive oil, I don't have olive oil spray. And heat over high until hot. Trim the steak of any visible fat, which mine doesn't have any fat on it because it said to get the lean cut. And cut crosswise into 3 pieces, add to pot. Brown meat on all sides approximately 5 minutes, transfer to a plate and set aside. Spray the pan again, and then add onion, bell pepper, garlic, and stir until they become brown. Add vinegar and stir, scraping up any of the brown bits from the bottom of the pan. Love those brown bits on the bottom of the pan. Add the broth, the diced roasted tomatoes, bring to a boil, and overheat. Add the bay leaves, the cumin, the jalapeno, the paste, and then stir all the ingredients until they're blended. Return the steak to the pot, bring it back to a boil and cover. Lower the heat and simmer the meat until very tender, which is going to be approximately 2 to 2.5 hours. This is not something you can make when you get home from work. This is going to be something you're going to have to sit. Now, this probably could work really well in a crock pot once you got everything started. When the meat is done, shred it gently with a fork so it is separated into small pieces. If the mixture is too liquidy, then you put it back up bring it back up to a boil, and then let it reduce. Now, what I wanted to talk to you guys about while I let this cool off, because I realized I need a pot instead of this skillet. What I want to talk to you guys about is, once again, I mentioned earlier, this is only 1.5 greens. So if you are on plan, which most of you probably are watching me, maybe you're not, I don't know. What I would suggest doing is actually doing cauliflower rice. do cauliflower rice to bring up your greens. That way you'd have 1 lean, 3 greens, so do 1.5 of your cauliflower rice, 3 condiments. You still have to get in your healthy fats though at some point. So maybe earlier in the day you have it with something else. Maybe you have some reduced fat cheese, or you have avocado on something, or maybe you do some butter or some mayonnaise, something to get those other the healthy fats that you need to get in for today. So anyway, I'm going to now get the pot out because I realized I needed a pot, not a skillet, and we'll continue on with our recipe. So the pan is heating up right now. So I'm going to lightly coat. And I'm going to grab this because I need to cut this meat. I hate touching raw meat. It grosses me out. And some people are probably going, well then why do you eat it? Because usually when I eat it, it's not raw. It's cooked and tasty. But raw meat just, it is one of those weird things that it's just, it's so to me. Okay, so I've got my steak here, and it said to cut it into 3 pieces, so I'm just going to use the right side of the knife to cut. There's 1, I don't need that pad thing, and here is 2. Now probably the reason it says to cut it crosswise is to break the tendons down within the meat. That's my guess. So what I'm going to do now is, it does not call for this, but I am somebody who likes to season things. So I am going to give it a little bit of pepper and a quick little dash of salt on this side. And I'm going to throw that into my pot. Ooh, it's sizzling, it's sizzling. It's making generous. Okay, and I'm also going to put pepper. Notice I'm very generous with pepper. I do not go by the plan Octavia's, you can only have a teaspoon of pepper or whatever it is. I did not get fat eating pepper, nor will I ever get fat eating pepper, so bitch gonna eat some pepper. So I'm letting that meat brown. It's at about 5 minutes on each side, so I'm going to let it sit there for a bit. So here in just a little bit, I'll flip it, and then I'll get it ready to go into a plate so we can let it rest while I get everything else together. So in the meantime, enjoy. Flip it. While I'm waiting, just as a side note, this is a 32-ounce box of beef broth from Swanson. I want to let you know that if you're ever working on a recipe and it calls for X amount of cups of broth, this is 4 cups worth of broth, okay? So there's another cup in here, and I know 2 young ladies who are going to be real happy when it comes to dinner time for them, because they're going to get some broth on their food, and they're going to be happy, happy girls. So one of those boxes is 4 cups, so I only need 3, so I have leftover cup. Just wanted to share that with you, because a lot of times I'd be like, I don't know how many cups, and I know. I should know because, I'm educated and all that fun stuff. And I've got Google, I can pull it up on my phone and say how many cups is in 32 ounces, yada yada. I can do that. But quick reference, 4 cups. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grab this steak and give it a good flip. As soon as I grab it, flip it. Oh, it's getting a good sear on it. Yay! So now, got the other side cooked. So now I've just flipped the steaks, and I'm going to let that cook for another 5 minutes. And then we'll be ready to start putting things in, scraping up the brown bits on the bottom, because I can already see the brown bits, and God, it smells so good. But we're going to get things moving along, okay? So, as you can see, the steak is really well. There are brown bits on the bottom of this lovely pan. Okay, so now I'm gonna let those sit and let that rest. The directions say to, one, turn on your fan. Directions say to spray again. Throw in your onions, your peppers, and your garlic. Okay, so those are now in the mix. And I'm just going to kind of let those cook for just a minute. Oh, that smells so good. Now successfully steamed up and stunk up my house with smoke, yay. So it says to do this until, oops, somebody jumping ship, until everything starts to turn brown. Okay, so I need to add in, sorry, my iPad is closed on me, what you know. Okay, so now I need to add in the vinegar, which it is 2 tablespoons of vinegar. So let me do this. I'm going to use this instead of a measuring spoon. So 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to scrape the bottom to get any of the brown off. By the way, don't put your head over the pan. You do that, you get a real rush of apple cider up your nose. It's delicious. So I'm kind of scraping the bottom, trying to get some of that lovely brown off the bottom. I'll tell you what I'm going to switch spatulas here. Beat them out. Sorry, the girls just got their beef broth and they're very excited about their dinner. Okay. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. That was too squishy. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Now do a little dance. Okay. So now that I've done that, you add the broth and the diced tomatoes. So I'm going to add 3 cups of beef broth into the pot and the can of tomatoes, which are the fire roasted ones, except these aren't fire roasted because I couldn't find them at our store. Although wait, let me say this. They did have fire roasted tomatoes, but it was a big old can of 28 ounces, and I was like, I don't need 28 ounces, I only need 14. So I was like, not today. God, this smells so good. I wish you all could smell this. It smells so freaking good. The beef broth, and now I'm really getting some of that brown off the bottom from the steaks. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. It's so good. It smells so good up in here. Okay. Hold on. I gotta open this back up again. Okay. So now that I've added that, stir until the ingredients are blended. Okay, I'm gonna return the steak to the pot. Oh, okay. Now I need. Oh, see, okay. I've added those. I need to bring this to a boil. Okay, so turn up the heat. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be adding are the 2 bay leaves. So I'm going to pull out 2 bay leaves. So I've got my 2 bay leaves. I add the cumin, the diced jalapenos, and the 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Now when I do the tomato paste, I will most certainly do with my hoo-ha here. Okay, so once I add, this comes to a boil on high heat, I'm going to add these items. I'm going to stir, then I'm going to return the steak to the pot, bring it back to a boil, and then I'm going to cover it. And that's when I let it sit for 2 and 2.5 hours. So hopefully I'll have this for dinner because it's 1:30 now. So yeah, it'll be ready for my dinner. I can't wait. So I'm gonna get this to boil. So I'm not gonna keep you hanging in the wings waiting for it to boil. I'll be right back, okay? And we'll move from there. So this is when I add 2 bay leaves. Oh, look at me. We add, if I remember correctly, see, I hate this that my iPad keeps closing on me. A tablespoon of tomato paste, and I need to add a tablespoon. So a tablespoon of tablespoon of tomato paste, and a tablespoon of cumin. So I'm going to pour out some cumin. Okay, so there's a tablespoon of cumin. Notice I did my dry ingredient first so that my little spoon wasn't gross with tomato paste. I'm going to do a tablespoon, and that was an even tablespoon, of tomato paste. Okay. Now, I'm also going to add my jalapenos. Notice I did not touch them with my hand. I touched the container. And then I'm going to mix this around a little bit. I'm trying to break up that tomato paste that I dropped in there. Oh, I can't wait to eat this later. Okay, so now, just to recap, I have put in all of my ingredients except for the steak. So I have put in bay leaves, apple cider vinegar, cumin, tomato paste, jalapenos, bell peppers, onion, garlic. What else did I put in here? I think that was it. It's in here technically right now because the steaks are right there. So now what I need to do, according to the recipe, is I am going to bring all of this to a boil again. So I reduce the heat. I'm going to take my steaks. I'm going to get them down into the mixture so that they're sitting in it. Okay, so they're getting down underneath, and I'll give you a shot here in just a second. And then I'm going to let it sit for 2 to 2.5 hours. But I got to bring it to a boil first. So I'm going to take this to a boil, and then we'll be right back. Well, hey there, friends. Okay, so it's actually been more than 2.5 hours. I have actually been sitting here looking at this, and it's still a tiny bit watery for what it needs to be. So I'm letting it cook a little longer, but it is wonderfully aromatic. It smells so good in here. So I think it's almost ready. So here in just a bit, I'm going to let it boil. I've got it boiling right now. I've had it boiling for the last probably 20 minutes. So I'm going to let it boil for probably another 20 to get as much of the water out as I possibly can. And then we're going to be putting it on a plate with some cauliflower rice and giving it a taste. But for right now, it is boiling, but I wanted to give you an update. So there you go. While I'm still waiting for this to boil, because I'm literally just starting this a few seconds after I just said I'm going to leave you alone. Cauliflower rice, I gotta tell you, you are looking at someone who absolutely hated cauliflower. I thought it was nasty, gross, just bleh, terrible. And so I was not a big fan. And actually the thing that started me down the cauliflower road, if you want to say that, is cauliflower rice. cauliflower rice. Sweet baby Jesus. Okay, so this, like I said, this started me down the way. There's also a product called palmini, which is actually made from heart of palm, which is good too. And I actually did that first, but we're gonna talk about cauliflower rice because this stuff is absolutely delicious. You have to season it just like you would anything else. So, like, for instance, I'm gonna put this in the microwave in a minute. Once this gets to where I need it to be, I'm gonna put it in there. I'm going to microwave it for its 60 seconds so it's ready for me to eat. And I'm gonna put a little salt. I'm gonna put pepper on it. I'm gonna stir it up, you know, so that it has some flavor too, not just beyond what I'm putting on top. You can't just go cauliflower rice, put it in a pot and be like, oh, this doesn't taste like rice. Well, of course it's not gonna taste like rice. This isn't rice, it's cauliflower rice. It's riced cauliflower. It's the vegetable, not the starchy grain. You can't just think it's going to taste the same. But I will tell you, love cauliflower rice. I now do roasted cauliflower on a regular basis in the oven, which I absolutely love. And that's just olive oil, salt, pepper, and some red pepper flakes. 40 minutes in the oven at, not 40 minutes, 20 minutes in the oven at 400. And then for the last 5 or 10 minutes, I hit it up to broil and let it broil so it gets nice and crispy. Dear, oh Lord, so good, so good, so good. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about cauliflower rice. I get these at Costco in a box, but cauliflower rice is great. You can get it at your local grocery store in the frozen food section. Green Giant makes it. They make rice broccoli. I like the rice cauliflower. I enjoy steamed broccoli better than I do rice broccoli. So anyway, so yeah, so there it is. Just wanted to share. One more time on the ingredients and what we did. So it is 1 lean, 1.5 greens, 3 condiments, and it's 6 servings, okay? So we had 2 pounds of steak, and I'm reading this off of my paper. 2 pounds of steak, 1/3 cup of onion, 2 bell peppers, 3 cloves of garlic. We had 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. We had 3 cups of beef broth. We had 1 14-ounce can of fire roasted tomatoes, which I didn't have because my store didn't have them, but I supplemented with it. 2 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of cumin, 2 jalapenos, and 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. First off, we started with our steaks, and we put the 2 pounds of steak up into 3 sections and placed it in here and browned it with some olive oil spray for 5 minutes on both sides and took it out to rest. After that, then I put in the onion, the peppers, and the garlic. Put that in for a little bit, let it do its thing, then threw in some apple cider vinegar, let it do its thing. Then I threw in the broth, the tomatoes, the cumin, the bay leaves, the jalapeno, all of the stuff. Brought that to a good boil. Then I threw back in the steak and let it go for about 2.5 hours on a low simmer. Like I mentioned, it's back on a boil right now because I'm trying to boil out a lot of the moisture. There's still a lot of water in the mixture and I need less. So I'm letting that boil out and then it'll be ready to go. So I'm heading into hour 3 now of this, and it's got a pretty good boil going on and should be ready for me to have shortly. Like I said, you're going to have to supplement in your healthy fats for the day as well as more of your green, because this is only 1.5 greens and you have to have 3. So you'll want to supplement in some other greens throughout the day somewhere. I'm going to use the other half of my greens with my cauliflower rice. That'll be the remainder of my greens, which I would suggest many of you do. And then in regards to your healthy fats, I would find something like avocado or something else to eat earlier in the day or a little later to supplement out your rest of your healthy fats, because you do have to have your healthy fats to lose your bad fat. It's a misconception. People think they don't have to have healthy fats, and yes, you do. So, with all that being said, I'm going to let this go a little longer, and the next time you see me, I'm going to be putting cauliflower rice on a plate, and I'm going to be putting this on top, and we're going to have us a taste. I feel like this is probably going to be as good as it gets, so what I'm going to do now is I put my cauliflower rice in my bowl. And once again, this is 6 servings, so Everybody's gonna be going, well, how can you measure 6 servings from a bowl? You have a couple options. I can go and weigh this, and most of this is beef, so I could go ahead and get my beef weight, which we know is 6 ounces, I believe, on this because it's a lean beef. So we could do 6 ounces and figure it out that way with our weight. I also can look at, you can also basically go and put equal amounts into 6 different bowls if you have 6 people. It's math, people. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get myself a good little, oh, it smells so good. Get me a little juice. A little bit of juice makes everything tasty. There we go. Clean up the edge of my bowl so that my grandmother won't be rolling over her grave because the edge of my bowl looks awful. I'm going to go ahead and cover this back up and turn the heat way back because I'm not the only person going to be eating off this today. But I want to show you. Okay, so here in just a moment, I'm going to go out on the sun porch here and I'm going to have some Ropa Vieja. So I have my trusty water bottle here. I have my bowl of Ropa Vieja, which means old clothes in Spanish. And if you hear heavy breathing, it's because I have 2 very hungry pups, because I starve my dogs so that they, sit by me all the time wanting food. So I'm going to do a taste test here live. I can't wait. It smells delicious. Oh, it smells so good. So once again, I'm doing mine with cauliflower rice to get in my extra 1.5 servings of green. So let's give it a try. Oh yeah, and there's the heat. Woo! There's the heat from the jalapenos. This is very good. I think I just my mouth's pouring. That sounds nasty. So very good. The steak is good. I was worried about the steak, I'll be honest with you. I didn't say it on camera. Steak seemed really tough earlier. And about midway through the cook, I broke it apart. So, but the steak is perfect. The flavor is unbelievable. Like I said, ours has got a little heat because I left the jalapeno seeds in. Man, delicious. Delicious. So if you want to give it a try, I will cut and paste the recipe in the description below. And if you happen to come across me here on YouTube and or on Facebook, maybe this is your first time seeing me on Facebook or YouTube, and you're looking to take care of your weight and change your lifestyle and get healthy, hit me up. I'd love to be your coach. Hey, I don't have to know you. I just have to have care in my heart to help you, and I have that. So everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And as I always say at the end of my videos, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And I'll see you soon. Bye.